They smiled when you failed. Did you notice? That flash of relief across their face when you didn't get the promotion. That subtle satisfaction when your relationship ended. That barely hidden joy when your project fell through. You told yourself you imagined it. You're being paranoid. They're your friends, your family, your colleagues. They want the best for you. No, they don't. And deep down, in that place where truth lives untouched by politeness, you already know this. Here's what no one will tell you. The moment you start growing, you become a threat. Not to your enemies, to everyone comfortable with staying small. Your evolution is their indictment. Your success is their mirror. Your light exposes their darkness, and they will try to destroy you for it, not with violence, with something far more insidious. Tonight, we decode the hidden psychology of envy, why your growth triggers rage in others, why mediocrity organizes itself against excellence, and most importantly, how they'll try to pull you back down to their level. Part 1. I'll show you the 5 types of people who hate your growth and exactly how to identify them. Part 2. We'll explore why your success feels like violence to their nervous system. Part 3. I'll give you the psychological armor to protect your evolution. But I'm warning you. Once you see this pattern, you'll recognize it everywhere. In every backhanded compliment, every subtle sabotage, every concern about you changing. Ready to understand why they hate your light? The flower bearer. Picture someone approaching your door with a bouquet in one hand and a dagger behind their back. This is the flower bearer, the most dangerous because they come wrapped in silk gloves and perfumed concern. They speak in whispers of worry. I'm concerned about you. You're working too hard. Don't you think you're being a bit ambitious? I just don't want you to see you get hurt. But watch their micro expressions. There's always a tell, a flash of something dark before the mask of care slides back into place. That momentary reveal when their unconscious leaks through their performance. Listen carefully. They're not worried about your well-being. They're worried about theirs. Your growth makes them feel stagnant. Your ambition makes them feel lazy. Your courage makes them feel cowardly. They plant seeds of doubt disguised as wisdom. Most businesses fail, you know. Success changes people, and not always for the better. I've seen what ambition does to relationships. They're not protecting you from failure. They're protecting themselves from the mirror you've become. Because your light doesn't inspire them, it burns them. The museum keeper. These people are in love with your past self, the version that was safe, the one who made them feel better about their own limitations. They want you preserved in glass, frozen at the level where you didn't threaten them. I miss the old you, they say, like a eulogy. You've changed, delivered like an accusation. Remember when we used to just hang out without talking about all this heavy stuff? They're curators of your stagnation, constantly trying to resurrect the corpse of who you used to be. They bring up old stories, old jokes, old versions of you. Anything to drag you back to the museum of your former self. Because that person didn't make them question their choices. That person didn't make them feel small. That person was their co-conspirator in mediocrity. They're not missing the old you. They're mourning the old version of themselves, the one who didn't feel inferior by comparison. Your evolution feels like abandonment because it is. You're abandoning the shared agreement to stay small. The shadow operator. This one moves like smoke through your life. They operate in the spaces between words, in the timing of their actions, in the accidents that always happen at your crucial moments. They're digital ghosts, forgetting to include you in important emails, arriving late to your celebrations, but early to your crises, creating emergencies right before your big moments. They specialize in plausible deniability. "Oh, I didn't think it was that important," they say when they forgot to tell you about the opportunity. "I just needed someone to talk to," when they called you crying the night before your interview. "It slipped my mind," when they sabotaged your preparation. They're not consciously evil. That's what makes them so dangerous. Their unconscious mind is orchestrating your failure because your success threatens their ego's survival. They're like a virus in your operating system, corrupting your files while appearing completely innocent. Watch for the pattern: confusion around your important dates, selective memory about your wins, and mysterious technical difficulties whenever you're about to level up. The scoreboard keeper. Everything is a competition with this person, and they need you to lose. They live in a zero-sum universe where your gain is their pain, your light is their darkness, your win is their defeat. You got a promotion? They mention their cousin who's a CEO. You lost weight? They point out someone fitter. You found happiness? They explain why it won't last. You started a business? They share statistics about failure rates. They can't celebrate your victories because they experience them as personal defeats. In their mathematics of existence, there's only so much success to go around, and what you take leaves less for them. They keep mental spreadsheets of who's winning life, constantly comparing scores and needing to come out ahead. Your achievements don't inspire them. They make them physically ill, because in their game, your success means their failure. Listen to how they respond to good news. There's always a but, or a counter story, or a subtle minimization. They can't help themselves. The fire extinguisher. This person specializes in dousing dreams before they catch flame. They've appointed themselves the guardian of limitation, the sheriff of impossibility, the executioner of ambition. They arrive at every conversation about possibility carrying statistics about failure. Do you know how hard that is? What makes you think you're special enough to do that? Let's be realistic here. They've made peace with their own abandoned dreams, and your active pursuit feels like a personal accusation. Your hope reminds them of their surrender. Your courage exposes their cowardice. They share stories about people who tried and crashed. They paint your ambition as delusion and your confidence as arrogance. They weaponize reality to murder possibility. But listen to what they're really saying. I gave up, so you should too. Your dreams are evidence of my failure. Your belief is a mirror of my doubt. They're not offering wisdom. They're confessing their limitations and demanding you adopt them as your own. 5 faces, 5 manifestations of the same disease, the inability to tolerate excellence in others. But why? Why does your growth trigger such primal resistance in these people? The answer lies deeper than jealousy. It's wired into their survival circuitry. And once you understand this, their behavior becomes predictable and therefore manageable. If you've seen these shadows moving through your life, if you've felt their subtle poison, then you know it's time to surround yourself with people who feed your fire instead of extinguishing it. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to reveal about the psychology of mediocrity will change how you see every relationship in your life. The mirror pain. Your brain contains mirror neurons, cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe others performing that action. This is why you wince when someone gets hurt, why inspiration spreads, why emotions are contagious. But here's what happens in the mediocre mind when they witness your success. Their mirror neurons fire, giving them a momentary taste of what achievement feels like. Then their ego intervenes with a devastating message. That could have been you, but it's not, because you're not good enough. This creates what I call mirror pain, the agony of seeing someone else live the life they abandoned. Your success literally hurts their brain. It's not metaphorical, it's neurological. Every time you level up, you're forcing them to feel the gap between who they are and who they could have been. And rather than use that pain as motivation, they use it as ammunition against you. The village panic. Imagine a village where every house is exactly the same height. The residents have lived this way for generations. It's safe, predictable, fair. Everyone knows their place. Then one day, someone starts building their roof higher. At first, it's barely noticeable, but as it rises, something shifts in the village. Windows start slamming shut. Whispers begin. The peace is shattered. Not because the taller roof hurts anyone, but because it exposes a terrible truth. All the other roofs could have been higher too. The limitation wasn't real. It was chosen. This is what happens when you break out of the collective comfort zone. You're not just changing your life. You're threatening the group's agreement with mediocrity. You're proof that their limitations were self-imposed. The village will mobilize to restore balance, not out of malice, but out of instinct, because your height makes their choice to stay low visible, and that visibility is unbearable. The crab bucket programming. You know what happens when you put crabs in a bucket? As soon as one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down. Not out of strategy, out of pure, unconscious programming. But here's the crucial difference. Crabs can't choose to override their programming. You can. When you start climbing out of the bucket of mediocrity, hands will reach up to pull you back. They'll use guilt. You think you're better than us? They'll use fear. It's dangerous up there. They'll use shame. Don't forget where you came from. But their programming is not your prison. Their limitations are not your laws. Their fear is not your reality. The projection machine. Here's the deepest truth. People don't hate your success. They hate what your success reveals about their choices. Every boundary you set shows them their boundaryless existence. Every risk you take exposes their cowardice. Every dream you pursue illuminates their abandoned aspirations. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you become a walking reminder of their surrender. And rather than face that pain, rather than take responsibility for their choices, they project their self-hatred onto you. Suddenly, you're arrogant for believing in yourself. You're selfish for having boundaries. You're unrealistic for having dreams. But you're not any of these things. You're just reflecting back to them the light they extinguished in themselves. And they can't forgive you for showing them what they gave up. The success allergy. Some people are literally allergic to success, their own or anyone else's. Their nervous system was programmed in childhood to associate achievement with danger. Maybe success meant abandonment. Maybe standing out meant being attacked. Maybe excellence meant isolation. So now, when they see you succeeding, their body reacts like it's under threat. Heart rate spikes. Cortisol floods their system. Fight or flight activates. And since they can't physically fight your success, they fight it psychologically. They minimize it, mock it, question it. Anything to make the threat go away. Anything to return to the familiar territory of shared limitation. They're not responding to your success. They're responding to their trauma. Your growth triggers their ancient wounds, and they attack the trigger instead of healing the wound. The scarcity software. Most people operate from scarcity programming. They believe there's a limited amount of success, love, recognition, and resources in the world. In their mind, life is a pie with fixed pieces. What you take leaves less for them. This is why they can't celebrate your wins. To them, your victory is their defeat. Your abundance is their lack. Your joy steals from their potential happiness. They're playing a game where everyone must lose for anyone to win. And they need you to lose so they can feel like they're not losing as badly. But abundance isn't zero-sum. Your success doesn't diminish theirs unless they believe it does. And that belief becomes their prison while you live in freedom. Now you understand the mechanics. You see why your growth triggers their pain. You recognize the patterns. But understanding isn't enough. You need protection. You need strategies. You need psychological armor. Because here's what they don't want you to know. You can become immune to their projections. You can grow despite their resistance. You can shine regardless of their shadows. The energy audit. Start here. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, write how you feel after spending time with them. Do they celebrate your wins or minimize them? Do they encourage your growth or question it? Do they inspire you or drain you? Be ruthlessly honest. Your future depends on this clarity. Now circle the names of people who consistently leave you feeling smaller, doubting yourself, or apologizing for your ambitions. These are your energy vampires. They feed on your light because they can't generate their own. You don't need to dramatically cut them off, but you need to consciously limit their access to your energy. They get surface level you. They get polite distance. they get boundaries. Think of your energy like money. Every interaction is either an investment or an expense. Start tracking the return on investment of your relationships. Who pays dividends of encouragement? Who only makes withdrawals? The gray rock method. When you can't avoid envious people, family members, colleagues, necessary contacts, become a gray rock. Boring. Uninteresting. Nothing to trigger their envy. Don't share your wins with people who can't celebrate them. Don't share your dreams with people who assassinate them. Don't share your growth with people who resent it. This isn't being fake. It's being strategic. You're protecting your light from those who would extinguish it. You're guarding your energy from those who would drain it. Save your authentic sharing for people who can hold space for your expansion. Everyone else gets the press release version of your life. The translation protocol. When someone projects their limitations onto you, translate it immediately in your mind. They say, "You've changed." You hear, "Your growth threatens my stagnation." They say, "You think you're better than everyone." You hear, "Your confidence exposes my insecurity." They say, "Money doesn't buy happiness." You hear, "Your abundance triggers my scarcity." They say, "You're becoming someone I don't recognize." You hear, "You're becoming someone I wish I could be." This isn't about becoming cynical. It's about recognizing projection when it happens. Their comments aren't about you. They're confessions about their own inner state. The success sanctuary. Create spaces in your life where growth is celebrated, where ambition is normal, where dreams are discussed seriously. This might mean joining communities of other growth-oriented people, finding mentors who've walked the path you're walking, creating distance from environments that worship mediocrity. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose those 5 people like your life depends on it, because it does. Build relationships with people who inspire rather than drain. Surround yourself with individuals who've overcome what you're facing, who've achieved what you're pursuing, who are growing alongside you. The selective sharing strategy. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams in their embryonic stage. Not everyone has earned the right to comment on your evolution. Be selective about who gets to witness your becoming. Share your struggles with people who've overcome similar ones. Share your dreams with people who've achieved their own. Share your growth with people who are also growing. Everyone else can see the results, not the process. They can witness the outcome, not the journey. They can applaud the success, not audit the attempt. Your vulnerability is precious. Don't waste it on people who will weaponize it against you. The compassionate boundary. Here's the paradox. The people who resent your growth are suffering. Their envy is a symptom of their pain. Their projection is a confession of their limitations. You can have compassion for their suffering without accepting their projections. You can understand their pain without dimming your light. You can love them without letting them limit you. Boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges. They allow you to love people from a distance that's safe for both of you. They let you have compassion without accepting contamination. Stop apologizing for growing. Stop minimizing your achievements to make others comfortable. Stop dimming your light because it hurts their eyes. Your growth is not a betrayal of where you came from. Your success is not an attack on those who choose differently. Your evolution is not a judgment of those who remain the same. You have one life, one chance, one opportunity to become everything you're capable of becoming. Don't waste it trying to make mediocre people comfortable with your excellence. If you've ever shrunk around someone, edited your wins, or hidden your joy to make others feel better, this is your reckoning. This is your moment to choose yourself over their comfort. Here's your assignment, should you choose to accept it. First, identify one person in your life who consistently minimizes your growth. Feel their energy in your body. Notice how you shrink around them, how you edit yourself, how you apologize for your ambitions. Now make a decision. For the next 30 days, you will not share any wins, dreams, or growth with this person. Not as punishment, as protection. You're creating space to grow without their shadow. Second, find one person who celebrates your evolution. Someone whose eyes light up when you succeed. Someone who asks about your dreams with genuine curiosity. Invest more energy in this relationship. Share more. Risk more. Grow together. Remember, they hate your growth because it exposes their stagnation. They resent your light because it illuminates their darkness. They attack your dreams because you're living proof that dreams are possible. But their opinion of your journey is none of your business. Their comfort with your growth is not your responsibility. Their ability to handle your light is not your limitation. You were not born to be convenient. You were not created to be small. You were not designed to make mediocre people comfortable. You were born to grow, to evolve, to become. And anyone who has a problem with that is revealing their own limitations, not yours. Your growth is not negotiable. Your evolution is not optional. Your light is not offensive. It's necessary. The world needs what you're becoming. Don't let the envious convince you otherwise. Shine anyway.